Hey fellow gliders, welcome back. Today we are going to continue with part 2 of our Monetize Your Glide app series. Now, if you haven't already taken a look at the first video in our series, make sure you click right over here so you can get caught up. In that very first video, we took a look at how we were going to monetize our app. In this case, we were going to create subscriptions. So we set up our Glide database to receive the subscription information coming in. In today's video, we're actually going to create the payment links that users are going to access in order to subscribe to our services. Now, as I mentioned in part 1 of our video, we're going to be leveraging a platform called Payhere, and Payhere allows us to create subscription links for our users. So our users will be able to subscribe to our app via that link. Payhere runs on Stripe. So if you haven't yet created a Stripe account for your business, you'll need to do that now. So I recommend pausing the video, opening up a new tab, and creating a Stripe account. You'll visit stripe.com and sign in. If you don't already have a Stripe account, at the very bottom, you'll click on Sign Up and create your Stripe business profile. Once you're able to sign into Stripe, then you'll be able to authenticate into Payhere with your Stripe account. So make sure you pause the video now and complete that step before moving forward. All right, now that you've created your Stripe account, it's time to create your Payhere account. There's a link in the description below, or you can click right over here in order to access Payhere so you can create your account. Now, one question I get asked a lot is, why use Payhere? Can't I just create subscriptions in Stripe? Can't I create payment links in Stripe itself and thereby bypass any sort of fees that Payhere is going to implement? Yes, you can. The problem is that Stripe does not allow itself to be embedded into apps. So in that regard, you're not going to be able to create a payment link and have it embedded right in your app to provide that great user experience. Payhere does. So that way our users aren't taken outside of your app to complete payment and then try to figure out a way to get back into the app. It's seamless. So that's why I highly recommend using Payhere moving forward. So once you're ready to get started with Payhere, just click on Sign Up in the top right-hand corner. It's going to ask you to complete a quick form about your business. Upon clicking Get Started, you'll be emailed a magic link to verify your account. And from there, you'll be asked to authenticate into Stripe. So then that's where you'll log into Stripe and connect Payhere to your Stripe account. Now, I've already done all of that. Here I am signed into Payhere, and you can see that you have 4 different sections. You have a dashboard section, which I'm not going to show you because it's going to expose sensitive information, but that's where you'll see a list of all of your subscriptions as well as your customers who have subscribed. The payment links section is where you'll be able to create new payment links. We'll talk about that in just a second. The next tab is the storefront. I personally don't use the storefront, but you are able to send out a link of all of your payment links on one succinct page. So that way your users can maybe subscribe or use the payment links for a variety of reasons. But we are instead doing link by link and embedding it into Glide. So again, we're not going to use storefront for this project. And then lastly is your settings. I highly recommend taking a look at this page here. This is where you're going to add your logo, your color scheme. You can define some custom CSS if you so choose. And then you can specify your company name here and so forth. And this is the information that is going to show up on your payment links itself. So I highly recommend taking a look at this page here. If you want to, you can pause the video, customize this page, and then come on back. Once you've set up your settings, we're going to go over to the payment links section and we're going to create a brand new payment link. Yes, you can see here at the top, you can also manage coupons. So if you want to offer coupons, you can do that. You can just create a new coupon and then any of these coupons will be available for any of your payment links. So now let's take a look at creating a new payment link. Click the blue button in the top right-hand corner. And from here, you'll see the interface for creating your first Payhere link. Now, there are 3 different types of Payhere links that you can create. You can create a subscription link, a one-off link, or a donation link. A donation is actually a mix of the two. You can select whether you want a subscription or a one-off payment within the donation link. Now, for this tutorial, we're only going to show you the subscription or the donation link. We're not going to do one-off payments until maybe the end of our series here. Look for that bonus video at the end of our series here, where I'll talk a little bit more about how you can create one-off links for particular products in your app. So the next step is you have to determine whether or not you want a subscription link or a donation link. And my recommendation is that you choose a donation link. The reason being, for the subscription link, once you set the price, it's set in stone for that link. It can never change. So if you wanted to change your price or alter it or have some sort of variant price based upon the season, you're not going to be able to change the price. So you'll have to create a new payment link in that regard. But if you choose donation link, you never set the price. here in Payhere. You set the price on Glide side. So then you can choose whether you want to have the price change flexibly, or for testing purposes, you can set the dollar amount to $1 while you're testing. So I highly recommend you choose donation as your payment link type. Afterwards, there are 4 main tabs: main, billing, custom fields, and advanced. Let's go through these one at a time. So the first field is your payment link name. This is the title of your payment link. It could be something as simple as monthly subscription. And then under description, you can describe what that monthly subscription is going to get you. Now, as of today, December 1st, 2022, Payhere created a new feature which allows us to set the link name and the description dynamically. So even if we decide not to place anything in these 2 fields, we'll still be able to customize it later. We'll talk more about that in just a second. Okay, next we have donation type, a recurring or a one-off. Since we're doing subscriptions, it'll be a recurring donation type. Okay, next, billing interval. We can choose between month or year. So in this regard, you have to determine whether or not you're offering a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription. In this case, I'm going to choose monthly because I want my users to subscribe monthly. If you decide you wanted an annual subscription, just change that to year. Again, you also have some other variants inside of this drop-down menu as well. Now, that begs the question, what if I want a monthly plan and a yearly plan? Well, that means you'll have to create 2 payment links, one for month and one for year. And we're not going to tackle that in this video, but again, look for that bonus video at the end of our series where I'll talk about how you can create multiple tiers of payment links for your app. Okay, lastly, set your currency, in this case, US dollars. Okay, next, the billing section. This is where you can fine tune some of your billing options. You can have it auto cancel or offer minimum payments. I don't typically use these 2 fields at all. You can offer a free trial period of certain days. So if you want a 7-day trial, you can just put the number 7 in here, or a 30-day trial or something like that. I'm going to leave no trial period for this case. Next up is custom fields. This is any other additional information you want to collect as part of the payment. Note this is separate from like Glide profiles altogether. This is what other information do I want to collect when they pay. It could be an address, or it could be their preference for something. They'll always collect their name and email. But if you wanted some other information, you can do that here. For this case, I'm not going to put in anything, but if again, you look for a bonus video at the end where I talk about multi-tier payments, and you'll see exactly why we might want to have a custom text field moving forward. So if you are interested in multi-tier payments, look for that video and then look for this feature in that video. Okay, the last tab here is our advanced tab. There's a couple of different fields that we can fill out. Let's take a look at them. The first one here is the pay button text. And so instead of using the word pay, you can default to something else, like maybe subscribe for, right? So now we're subscribing for X dollars a month rather than just paying X dollars a month. Completely up to you. Receipt text. This is the text that's included in the email sent to customers. So if you want to give them some further instructions or a link to a video or an affiliate link or something else, you can include that link in the receipt text. Next is a checkbox for limiting how many times this plan can be purchased. Now this is overall, not just for the user. So you really don't want to limit this. Otherwise you're saying that only 10 people can subscribe to your app. So leave that checkbox unchecked. Okay, if you are using coupons, go ahead and check that box to allow coupon codes to be used, and you'll see that a new box appears for that coupon discount code. I'll leave this checked just for a future reference. Okay, the last 2 fields here, one is this success URL. This is the page they'll be redirected to after a successful payment. You can leave it blank if you just want it to default to the Payhere receipt, which I'm going to do. But if you want to redirect them to your website or redirect them to a specific payment screen, you can certainly enter in a URL here. Note it has to be a public URL in order for Glide to be able to pick it up and show it in the app. And last is the webhook URL. This is going to be extremely important for allowing our payment subscriptions to talk back to Glide. We're going to revisit this once we talk about automating our payment links in the next video. For now, we're done. Let's click on Save Changes. And now we have this awesome Payhere link that we can access anywhere from any device. So I'm going to click on Copy URL, open a new tab, and paste that URL just so you see what the tab or this payment here looks like. Now you might notice that there are a lot of open fields here that we want to close down, right? The payment amount. We don't want to give our users a choice as to what to pay for our app. And that's where it's truly a donation, right? No, we want to specify, hey, you need to pay $40 a month to access our app. So we need to set this amount dynamically. Also the name and email. This is information that we already have in our app. So we want to pre-populate this on Glide side. Luckily, Payhere allows us to pre-populate these fields using URL parameters. We're going to talk about that next, how to create those URL parameters inside of Glide. Let's take a look. Before switching over to our Glide interface, we need to capture the URL for this payment link. We can either just copy the URL up here, or you can revisit your payment links section, find the payment link, and then click on Copy URL. Next, in your Glide app, we're going to create our payment link on the payment link screen. So we're going to visit our data editor, and then we can choose whether or not we want our payment link to live in the user profile or on the promo screen. I recommend the promo screen because that's where our users will be when they go to subscribe to our app. If you make it in the users field, that's fine too, because we can pull information from the users tab anywhere. But let's go ahead and create it in the promo screen. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new column in our promo screen. And this will be the subscription link, or the Payhere link. The type is going to be a construct URL column. So you can find that under Other and then Construct URL. If you've never constructed a URL before, you might see some vernacular in here that you're not familiar with. Protocol. This is just HTTP or HTTPS. If you leave it blank, it'll default to HTTPS, or you can be redundant and type HTTPS. Host. This is the first part of the URL. In this case, it's going to be the app.payhere.co. Your path should not include any forward slashes. So it's just going to be the first part of that URL, the app.payhere.co. Next is our path. In this case, it's going to be the specific identifier for our Payhere link. So if we paste the rest of the URL in here, we see that we have our company name followed by a forward slash followed by the link for our Payhere. And if we were to hit done, we see that we have this URL now. And if I were to copy this URL, Command C, open a new tab and paste, Command V. Okay, we should see that we have that identical payment link that we had accessed earlier. But we want to go one step further and pre-populate some of these fields and lock some of them down. So I'm going to go back to our Glide app, and let's go ahead and pre-populate some of those. All right, so we're going to access this query parameters portion of the construct URL column. We're going to add a few parameters. I'll just pre-populate them here. Okay, the first parameter is filling in the customer name. So that's going to be customer underscore name. And we're going to select the customer name from the user profile sheet. So to do that, we hit the triple dots on the right-hand side, hover over user profile, and then grab their name. It could be first name, it could be last name. You see here, I don't have a full name field. So let's go ahead and create that. I'm going to select first name just for now so I don't lose my place here. In my user screen, right next to last name, I can insert a column to the right and call it full name. The type is going to be a template column. And I'm going to combine the first and last name. So I usually just use numbers when entering a template text. I'll do like 1 space 2, but I'm going to replace those numbers. I'm going to replace the number 1 and replace the number 2 with the first name and last name. The reason why I use numbers is because it's fast to type along the number row on my keyboard. All right, so now we see we have a person's full name in this full name field, and that's really what I want to use in the promo screen here. All right, let's revisit our Payhere link and change the customer name to the user profile full name. Hey, next is the customer email. So that's customer underscore email. And that's going to be the user profile email. We could have also used the email address of the app's user. Either one works. Okay, next, we want to lock that down. We don't want our users changing their name or changing their email, because that's what we're using as the identifier to know whether or not a certain user has purchased a certain plan. So if we're allowing them to change their email, then we're going to lose that link between the user and their subscription. So to lock that down, we say disable customer fields. And we say yes. All right, let's hit done. I'm going to go ahead and copy our link just to test it out and paste. Oop, didn't copy correctly. Click, copy, paste. There we go. So we see all of those URL parameters up here in the URL for this payment link. And now when I hit enter, we see that our name has been pre-populated. The email has been pre-populated. But they're not able to change that. I can't click in here and edit it. That's exactly what we're looking for. So that way we know that when they subscribe, we'll be able to make a match based on their email. All right, now let's tackle the payment amount. Okay, back in our promo screen. Here's where we can set the price. I recommend creating a column for that, just to make things clear. I'm gonna go ahead and create a new column, and it'll be a number column. And we can call this subscription amount. And here's where we can define exactly what we want that amount to be. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as 0.00 precision. Since I'm using US dollars, I'll do the dollar sign and display the unit before the number. Hit done. Now let's say we're having our users subscribe for $14.99 a month. I'll just put that number in the cell and hit enter. And we see that's formatted to a dollar amount. Now Payhere needs this dollar amount in cents. So we're going to create a math column to convert this pretty dollar amount to that raw number. I'm going to add a new column. We'll call this amount in cents. Type is going to be a math column. And all we need to do is take the subscription amount and multiply it by 100. Precision should be 1, and we can get rid of the group separator. All right, let's go ahead and edit our Payhere link to include that amount. So for the query parameters, we're going to say amount underscore in underscore cents, and we'll choose the amount in cents as the value. We also want to hide the amount from the user because we don't want them to change that $14.99 when they go to subscribe. So Payhere has a parameter for that. It's just hide underscore amount. And we'll say yes. All right, if I hit done, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this URL again and paste. Okay, and we see that now this Payhere subscription link is set to $14.99 a month. And I can't edit my customer details. Now, just so you see it, I'm also going to show you how you can customize the link name and link description based on URLs as well. So those parameters, in case you want to use them, is link underscore title and link underscore description. We can set this to whatever we want. So this is my awesome link, and the description can be subscribe now. And you'll see that if I were to copy this new URL and paste, right now we see that the link and description have changed dynamically based on those glide fields. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. So what's great is that we now have this live subscription link that we can provide to our users. All we need to determine is where users should access the link. So really what we want them to do is direct them to this particular table. So we need a screen that's based on this table so they can access this link. Let's go ahead and build that in our layout view. I'm going to click on layout. And for our purposes, I have courses, and within those courses, I have lessons. So I want our users to still access the course freely, right? They can see the name and description, but I don't want them to be able to access any of these links or any of these lessons unless they've subscribed. So for our tutorial, for simplicity, I'm going to add a subscribe now button. I'm going to add a new component, search for button. I'm going to drag it in right above the collection. And then I'm going to center it, and let's make it wide. And maybe we really want to highlight it. So maybe I'll put it in its own container even. Or this container is maybe the accent color or highlight color or card. Maybe highlight, maybe accent. Make it really big so they have to see, hey, you have to subscribe now. Completely up to you as to how you want to go about creating the visuals for your page. Now on this button, we need to say something like subscribe now. Subscribe to access course content. Okay. And here's where we want to direct them to the promotion screen. So let's go ahead and create that screen. There's a variety of ways to do that. The easiest way is just to create a brand new tab. So I'm going to create a new tab here in our app, be a custom page. Go to the general section of this page, and our source is going to be our promo screen. Okay. All right. The only thing that we want on this screen is some information about signing up, right? So that's where we can include any component that we want in order to entice our users to subscribe. But ultimately, what you want on the bottom of this page is the web embed to display our Payhere link. Yes, the web embed is a pro feature, but if you are charging your users to subscribe to your app should be a pro app. So that way you have the white labeling features, the custom domain, all of the row quota that you need in order to house all of the information that your users are going to be creating. You should really go pro in order, you need to, right? To go pro in order to monetize your app. Got to spend money to make money, right? So it's well worth it to go pro. All right, I'm going to go ahead and select the web embed component. And you see it starts you off with some default embed information here. We're going to replace that with our Payhere link. So I'm going to select Payhere link, and you see that our Payhere link is now right directly within this page. Okay, so here they can see some information. And then here you see that all of those fields that we locked down are still locked down, right? So here's our $14.99 a month. Our current user is already prompted in here. All they have to do is push the blue button after filling out their credit card information. You can see this is all dynamic. So if I were to sign in as somebody else, we see that their information is what gets displayed here, which is awesome. So ultimately what we want here is that when our users subscribe, their new subscription information will appear as a new row in our subscription sheet, which then triggers this relation to an active subscription that we created. And then based on this screen, we can then hide our promo screen, right? We can hide this new page. So they should really only see this page if they don't have an active subscription, right? Once they have an active subscription, this whole tab should just go away. So that's what's going to be nice about this logic, is that once that subscription line comes in, right, they'll no longer see this payment form. All of that will just be automatically hidden. To do that, we're going to select new page here at the top, right? The name of our page here. Let's actually call this like subscribe now. And then under options, the visibility for this tab should be where the user profile relation to active subscription is empty, meaning they don't have an active subscription. So when they don't have an active subscription, that's when they'll be able to see this tab. So the only thing we have to do is navigate our users to this screen when they're ready to subscribe. So we can do that in a variety of places. For our purposes, it's going to be that button we created on our courses screen. So back on the courses screen, we have this subscribe to access course content button. And we just need to change the action of this button to navigate to that screen. So on the button block here, instead of show notification, we're going to change the action to go to tab. And the tab we're going to navigate them to is the subscribe now tab. All right, so now they have to subscribe in order to access the course content. They push the button and boom, they're on the subscribe now page where they are prompted to subscribe. That also means we need to prevent them from accessing any of the lesson content until they've subscribed. So here I have this content, this list that I don't want them to dive into unless they've subscribed. You might also have a tab somewhere in your app of premium content, right, that you don't want them to access unless they've subscribed. So for the premium content, right, this premium content tab, or for this list tab, it's the same visibility condition. It's where the relation to active subscription is or is not empty. So for this premium tab, let's say I wanted to hide it until they have an active subscription. I can set a visibility condition on this tab so that it only gets displayed when the user profile relation to active subscription, okay, is not empty, right? So because it is empty, they don't have access to this premium tab. You only see these two tabs. Okay. Likewise, for this content, I don't want them to be able to click in and see the content yet. So on the collection, I can adjust the action of the item click here to only view details or whatever your action is, only when, you can add a condition here, only when, again, user profile relation to active subscription is not empty, meaning now they can't click on anything. They can't dive in, right? If you wanted to, you could also, instead of adjusting the condition here, you can edit your action, create a custom action, and include a condition as part of the action. So to do that, I can create a new condition, and you make it the very first thing that it's checking. You're going to check to see whether or not the user profile relation to active subscription is or is not empty. If it is empty, meaning they don't have an active subscription, then you can do nothing, or you can show a notification, or you can direct them to the subscription screen. You can say, go to tab here, or you can simply show notification. Maybe it's a failure notification where you must subscribe to see this content. Okay, and save. All right, so now if they were to click on this, they're going to see this notification, right? And now there's a button here to subscribe to access course content, and there they go. All right, or you can navigate them directly. Completely up to you. But now we have some conditionality as to whether or not they can access your premium content. It's behind that paywall. All right, so to recap this video, we created our Stripe account. We also created a Payhere account and created a dynamic donation Payhere link. We've embedded that link into its own Subscribe Now page. That Subscribe Now page is going to be visible as long as they don't have a subscription. And we've also walled off our premium content until they've subscribed. So the last step is to automate our subscriptions. We want that whenever somebody subscribes using our Payhere link, that a new row is generated into our subscriptions sheet. So that's what we'll cover in the next video. Until then, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. You can also reach out to me at Twitter @rpetito. And as always, thanks for watching.